Good morning, students. So today we are going to study about proteins, which is the next topic in our chapter biomolecules. Students, what are proteins? So these proteins, they are also known as polypeptides. As you know that, like other biomacromolecules, these are also found in the acid insoluble food. That is the retentate when we do the chemical analysis of biomolecules. So these polypeptides, as the name itself indicate, poly means many and peptide means such type of molecules or polymers in which the amino acids, which are the monomeric units, they are joined with the help of peptide linkages. That's why we called them polypeptides. So here we are going to study more about proteins, that these proteins, they are consist of linear chains of amino acids, and these amino acids, they are linked with the help of special type of bonds which are known as the peptide bonds. And here all the amino acids, they are joined end to end in a chain like fashion. So each protein is actually a polymer of amino acid. So there are 20 amino acids known to us. Students always remember, a protein is a heteropolymer. It can never be considered as a homopolymer. Student, what is a homopolymer? A homopolymer is such a polymer in which all the monomeric units which constitute that polymer, they are same in nature. They are of same type, you can say. So amino acids may be essential amino acids or it may be non-essential amino acids. Those amino acids which are obtained by us from food or diet what we take from the outer environment, such type of amino acids, they are known as the essential amino acids. But besides these, there are some amino acids which we cannot obtain from our food, and they are synthesized by our body at its own. So such type of amino acids are known as the non-essential amino acids. Okay, student, have a look on the functions of the proteins. So proteins, they are performing variety of functions in your body. Number one, they are involved in the transport of nutrients, various type of nutrients across the cell membrane. Because you know very well, cell membrane or plasma membrane, it is semi-permeable in nature. It allows the entry of only certain selective ions because it consists of a lipid bilayer which is hydrophobic in nature, and ions are hydrophilic in nature. So there are some proteins such as peripheral proteins and integral proteins which are present in this lipid bilayer, and they act as carrier for the transport of these essential ions. So such type of diffusion is known as facilitated diffusion. The second function of proteins is these proteins such as antibodies. They are found in our immune system, and this type of immune system in which antibodies which are proteinaceous in nature, they fight against the disease causing organisms or pathogens, is known as humoral immune response. You know very well, we have two type of immune responses. One is humoral immune response and another is cell mediated immune response. So here in humoral immune response, the chief components are the antibodies. And these antibodies are actually made up of proteins, and whenever they come in contact with an antigen, they are produced millions in number during the secondary response, and in this way they kill the pathogen or antigen that enters in our body. In cell mediated immunity, we have two type of cells: B cells, those cells which are synthesized in bone marrow and remain in the bone marrow throughout their lifetime, and another type of cells are the uh, T cells. These cells are known as T lymphocytes, and they are those synthesized in the bone marrow, but later they migrate towards the thymus gland and remain in the thymus gland throughout their lifespan. So this type of immunity in which B and T cells, they fight against the pathogens or antigens, is called cell mediated immunity. Okay, student, third function of these proteins are, some of the proteins, they act as hormones. You know that hormones are the chemical messengers, and these hormones, they control certain functions, and these hormones, they are proteinaceous in nature. One of the example of such type of hormone is insulin, which controls the level of sugar in your blood. Some of the proteins, they behave as enzymes. So it is a general saying that all enzymes, they are proteins, but all proteins, they are not enzymes. This means the proteins have different type of structure, and the tertiary structure of the protein is actually that structure in which these proteins, they act as enzymes for various biochemical reactions. So student, here I want to tell you that the most abundant protein in the animal world is the collagen. And there is another protein, that is rubisco. It is ribulose bisphosphate carboxylase oxygenase. It is the most abundant protein that is found in the whole biosphere. Okay, students, now we are going to study about the structure of the proteins. So here we are going to study 4 types of structures of protein. The first structure of protein is its primary structure. So what the primary structure of protein said? That the monomeric units of proteins, which are known as amino acids, they are arranged one above the another in a chain-like fashion in a particular line. That means the primary structure of protein shows a linear arrangement of the amino acid. It gives us an information regarding the position of the amino acid, that which amino acid is present at the first position, and what is the amino acid that is next to it. And in this way, how many amino acids are present one after the another. So here you can say that in the primary structure, a protein is imagined as a line, and the left end is represented by the first amino acid, and the right end of that chain, it is represented by the last amino acid. So here, the first amino acid is called as the N-terminal amino acid, because when the chain, it starts from its beginning, then you know that at the first group that is binded with the tetravalent carbon is actually the amine group, NH2 group. That's why that terminal is known as the N-terminal of the amino acid. And when the chain ends, at that position, when you look at the structure, what you see the group that is present at the right end is actually the carboxylic group, COOH group. That's why this terminal is known as the C terminal of the amino acid. Okay, students, see the enlarged view of the primary structure of the protein. So it is in the form of a linear arrangement. Here you can see a rod and all the amino acids. They are shown here in the form of small balls, and these balls, they are joined with the help of a thread-like structure. These actually indicates the peptide bonds that are present between the adjacent amino acids. So from this primary structure, we can easily find out that which is the first amino acid and which is the second, and so on. So the left end is known as the N-terminal because of the position of amine group, and the right end is known as the C-terminal because of the presence of carboxylic group at that position. Okay, student, the next structure of protein is called as the secondary structure of protein. So what this structure indicates, that a protein thread does not always exist in the form of an extended rigid rod. The thread is folded in the form of several helix, and these helices, or you can say only, are not formed in the whole structure of the protein. Only some portions of the protein thread, they are arranged in the form of helix. So in proteins, the right-handed helices are generally absorbed. So other regions of the proteins thread, they are also folded into different kind of forms. So this is called the secondary structure of the protein. Student, here the picture of the alpha helical structure of, that is the secondary structure of protein, is visible to you. See the enlarged view. So two forms of secondary structure are shown here. One is the alpha helical structure of the secondary structure of protein, and second is the beta pleated sheets. The alpha helical structure, we have seen so many layers of the amino acids. They are arranged themselves in the form of helices, and the adjacent helices, which contains the chain of amino acids, they are also associated with each other with the help of hydrogen bonds. And in the beta pleated sheet, what you observe, there are different layers of the amino acids, and you can imagine these layers of amino acids lying one above the another in the similar way as the thin sheets of a material. They are arranged one above the another. So all of these sheets of the amino acids, that means the adjacent amino acid sheets, they have interaction with each other with the help of hydrogen bond that is present between the adjacent amino acids. So this is the beta pleated sheet structure or the secondary structure of proteins. Yes, students, we are talking about the tertiary structure of proteins, a very special structure. So sometimes what happens, the long protein chain, it also folded upon itself like a hollow woolen ball. And this gave the tertiary structure of the protein. And here you can see that three-dimensional view of the proteins. So it appears like open hollow woolen ball. So the some of the threads they get opened, but so many helices that are seen in the diagram. So all of these helices, they are actually the active sites, because you know very well in the tertiary structure the proteins they behave as enzymes, and you have also studied about enzymes, that these enzymes they have active sites by which the substrate it gets binded, and when the substrate it gets binded with the enzyme, then an enzyme substrate complex is formed. And this enzyme substrate complex, it is an intermediate stage in which the enzyme it acts over the substrate. It converts the substrate slowly into the products. Then after a short period of time, this enzyme substrate complex, it later changes into enzyme product complex, that is EP complex. And when the whole substrates they get converted into the product, then what happens? These enzymes they get separated from the product, and in this way the enzyme they get free for catalyzing another chemical reactions. So in this way the enzyme it always bind with the substrate to catalyze a particular chemical reaction. Yes, students, see the enlarged view of the tertiary structure of the proteins. So many helices are found here in the form of folds, and these folds are actually the active sites. So here the substrate, it gets binded at this active site, and a biochemical reaction starts with the help of these enzymes. So whenever a question is asked to you that at which structure the enzyme behave as the proteins they behave as enzymes, then your answer is the tertiary structure, because it has so many pocket like folds which are known as the active sites. Yes, student, the next type of structure is the quaternary structure of proteins. So here what you observe, that some proteins they are present in the form of assembly of more than one polypeptide chains or subunits, you can say. The manner in which these individual folded polypeptides or subunits they are arranged with respect to each other. They may be in the form of linear strings of spheres, and spheres they are arranged one above the another, or sometimes the spheres they arranged one upon each other in the form of a cube or a plate. So here the protein threads they arranged themselves into different folds to form variety of geometrical shapes. It may be spheres, it may be cube, it may be plates. So such a structure of protein is known as the quaternary structure of protein. An example of a quaternary structure of protein is adult hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin it consists of two chains of polypeptides. One is the alpha chain and another is the beta chain. So this is the example of quaternary structure. Yes, students, see the enlarged view of this complex quaternary structure. So many folds are present over there. So many geometrical shapes are found in the form of cubes, spheres, and plates. So here, variety of geometrical shapes they are formed in this structure of proteins. Yes, students. So in the upcoming lecture, we are going to study about the carbohydrates after this structure of proteins. I am quite hopeful that the uh, structure of protein that is clear to you. We have studied four structures: primary structure, then secondary structure, then tertiary, and then quaternary. So read your chapter carefully. The concept will be clear to you. And that's all in today's lecture. In the upcoming lecture, we will study about the carbohydrates. Have a nice day, students.